Count it down. Sunday, 3 o'clock, 3:30. It's the 49ers hosting the Dallas Cowboys. The rivalry is renewed. And with that, time to bring in our guest who knows a thing or two about Cowboys and 49er rivalry. All guests appear on the Bud Light guest line. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. We go to the phones. Ex-Dallas Cowboy quarterback and punter, currently the color commentator for Cowboys America's Team Radio Network. It's Danny White. Danny, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing well, and we're all getting fired up here for Cowboys and Niners, the rivalry renewed. Before we get into this matchup, 2023, let's go back in time to your experiences in the Cowboys and the Niners rivalry.
Well, I mean, it's hard to remember the rivalry without everything getting blocked out by the catch, and in the one game. But there were a lot of games before that where we pretty much dominated the rivalry, and then that game happened, and that play actually, I mean, because we had the game won, we thought. And it's amazing in the game of football how things can turn, on a dime, on a single play. And you look at the great plays, the catch, the Hail Mary, those of course were plays that were not by design. They just happened. The football gods took over, as they always do, sooner or later. And you get the breaks, you get the bounces, you get the calls, you get the injuries, and something that's out of your control seems to often take effect. And that's kind of how I felt about that play and that game, was that, hey, it was meant to be, and it was out of my control standing on the sideline watching them go 90 yards for a touchdown to win that game. But the rivalry, was of course a lot more games than that, but dominated by that one game and that one play.
I was telling Dibs before, Danny, that your guys' talent in the early 80s, late 70s as well, but really still right there in 1981 was just amazing. I mean, an amazing talented team on both sides of the football. And Dibs was at the 45-14 regular season game. And I'm just kind of wondering, Niners put one on you guys early, but what was your mindset going into the championship game that year in 81? Did you feel like you guys were the better team and that week 5 or 6 game early in the year was an aberration?
Well, yeah, and I think that's true now. And I think it's always teams evolve during the season, and your strengths and your weaknesses are developed, and all you do is you try to build towards the playoffs, and you want to be playing your best football when you hit the playoffs. And it happened to the Rams a couple years, last year, and every year, and then this year, look what's happened to them. And so the way the owners, and to their credit, they've created a system that breathes new life every year. It's amazing to me that the team in Houston thought that they were going to win the Super Bowl at the start of the season. Everybody builds their team up in the offseason so that all the fans think that they're the best team in the league. And it's incredible to watch that process happen, but it does. And the way the draft is set up, the way the scheduling is set up, any team can win in any given year, and you never know who that's going to be. So, we talked about the Dallas-San Francisco rivalry, and we talked about all the stats this season and all the things that the 49ers have done and the Cowboys have done. And you know what? It all means absolutely nothing for Sunday afternoon. I mean, the team that goes out there and plays the best game. Now, granted, the one factor that I think makes a difference is home field advantage. It did for us. We played 3 championship games, 80, 81, 82, all on the road, and lost all 3 of them. And so I know a little bit about playing on the road, and it makes a difference. And the coaches and the players will try to downplay it, but it's a big deal. It's a big factor in the game, and so the Cowboys are going to have to overcome that. And they do it by not making mistakes, by being prepared for the noise and the environment, and not getting holding penalties on first down and illegal procedures, things that put them behind the sticks offensively, and lining up off sides and doing stupid things defensively. The team that doesn't beat themselves will probably win this game, and that's where home field advantage plays into it. So, yeah, we were a different team at the end of the season than we were early in the season, just like both of these teams are now.
Former Cowboy quarterback Danny White here with Willard and Dibbs on 95.7 The Game. The Niners looking markedly different with a third-string quarterback, kid out of Arizona, Brock Purdy. What do you make from afar of what Brock Purdy's been able to do as a rookie going undefeated here late in the year?
Well, we put way too much emphasis. I say we. I've come over to the dark side of the media.
Yeah.
and on the quarterback position. Yeah, he's the guy that touches the ball in every play, and it's critical to have a good quarterback. But just draw the comparison between Tom Brady and Brock Purdy this year. And, who would you rather be? Well, it's incredible how the game of football has become such a great team sport, and there's not a quarterback that ever played at that level that won't tell you that he is at the mercy of the people around him. If that offensive line doesn't do their job, if the receivers don't do their job, if the running backs don't do their job, then it's impossible for him to do his job. I watched Michael Parsons make Tom Brady look like a rookie. And that's how powerful one player or one defense, and he didn't do it by himself, but he was breathing down Brady's back on every play. And Brady got tired of it. I don't blame him. I've been there. And yet Brock Purdy has this great team around him, maybe the most talented team on paper in the playoffs. There's not a weakness on that team. Now insert Brock Purdy. And it could be him. It could be just about anybody that's played quarterback at the collegiate level, and they're going to go out there and look good. He's going to have open receivers. He's going to have time. He's going to have space to be able to see. He's going to have all that going for him. It's going to be like 7-on-7. And that's what Brock Purdy's experiencing right now. I hope he appreciates it, because it's not going to be that way for the rest of his career.
Danny, how nervous would you be if you're a Cowboy player about Brett Maher, who missed the 4 PATs? Today they signed Tristan Vizcaino, another kicker, to the practice squad. Is that something? Do you think Dallas goes for it on fourth down? Do you think they try 2-point conversions if Maher struggles early in this game? What's your thought on it?
I don't think they change a thing. They have got to show Brett Maher that they've got his back. While everybody else in the world, the media, the fans, everybody else is turning on him, his teammates, the guys in the locker room, have got his back. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters to him. His coach has got his back. He's going to put him in there to kick a field goal or an extra point. And he knows you can't let one game override an entire season of greatness. The guy was the best kicker next to maybe Tucker in the league this year. The only 2 of the 3 field goals he missed all year were 59-yarders. So everybody wants to just erase that and only just look at one game. Well, I was out there on the surface of that field before the game, and it was an iffy kind of a surface. I know it didn't affect a lot of the other guys as much as it did him, but I think it got in his head that he thought he might slip, and it just changed him just a little bit. And anybody who's ever played golf knows how easy it is for your swing to go right in the tank. You know, and I'm sure that's what happened to him, and it got in his head. And now the most important thing that can happen to him this week is for things to get back to normal.
And the field at Levi Stadium should be much better. We haven't gotten the rain this week that we got last week, so no excuses for Maher kicking at Levi's. Danny, thank you for joining us, and have a good call this Sunday.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Great to be with you.
Thank you, Danny. Danny White, former Cowboy quarterback